Hey guys, how are you? It's another series of Javi's videos. Javier from Javier Hurtado Realty. I have a special treat for you guys today. We have a solar expert, my friend Ahmad. Ahmad, you can take the stage.
What's going on, Javi? Happy to be on here. Very, very excited. My name is Ahmad Ali. I'm the CEO and co-founder, one of the owners of Team Sunshine Construction, a local solar installation company servicing the New England area. So we go from sales and marketing all the way to getting the materials, designing the project, installing the project in service and warranty as well.
Awesome. Awesome, man. So I know you guys are excited as I am, but we actually have some very important questions that a lot of people think about all the time. And starting with the first question is, what are the common misconceptions people have about solar? Because I know a lot of people saying a bunch of different things.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about solar. I've been doing this for about 9 years now, and I've been able to heard and seen pretty much everything. One of them is the cost to get into solar, which we're actually going to talk about that later. Thinking that it costs a lot of money and effort to go solar. But some of the bigger ones are, you know, people believe that if you go solar, it's going to be hard for you to sell your house, right? And that's something we're going to touch on a little bit later as well. They think it puts a lien on your property, which is not a fact anymore. It may have been in the past, but certainly not anymore. And people think that you're going to pay more for solar than you are for your electricity, which is also not necessarily the case either. So there's definitely a lot of misconceptions about solar. I'd say those are probably some of the biggest ones for sure.
Okay. So I guess we can dive into the next idea is what does it take to actually get into solar?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I think a lot of people overcomplicate, right, what solar is. Very simply, if you're somebody who owns a house, right, you
Okay.
own a house or you own a commercial property and you have somewhat decent credit, right, like a 600, 650 plus, you're able to go solar, right, as long as you qualify and then your house qualifies, which means your roof is in good shape, your house structurally is in good shape. Now, the really good thing is if it's not necessarily in the best shape, right? If you need a new roof, if you need electrical upgrades, if you need structural upgrades, these are all things that we as a company, Team Sunshine Construction, are actually doing as well, right? And these are also things that you can add into the package for solar, right? For $0 down, right? Most people either buy or lease, right? So
Yeah.
people have the misconception, like we were talking about, you have to
Yeah.
pay 20, 30, 40, 50, $60,000 up front to go solar. Now you can buy it, right? But I'd say that's maybe 5, 10% of our clients right now buy it up front, right?
Mm.
Most people go with financing or leasing, right? And with either of those options, the payments are stretched out over 5, 10, 15, up to 25 years. So you can get into solar with no money down and a very manageable monthly payment. Typically, that's less than what you're currently paying for electricity.
Whoa, that's actually
Yep.
incredible. So if I understood that correctly, not only are you saving money and you can finance that all in, but if the roof is not in the best shape, you can put that in as well and they can wrap it all into a deal, correct?
Absolutely, for no money down. And we also just got into HVAC as well. If you need a heat pump, mini splits, things of that nature as well. And those also have some huge rebates, right? Because you go
Yeah.
solar today, you get a 30% federal tax credit, right? So 30% of your costs are covered through your federal taxes, and you can claim it the following year. The
Yeah.
IRS form 5695. And with leasing, you can typically just save money right away without having to worry about tax credits or anything like that. But we can also wrap some other home improvement stuff into the project too.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you're a one-stop shop, man, pretty much.
Absolutely.
That's
Yep.
fantastic. Well, the next question, what are your thoughts on America actually going electric? There's a bunch of electric vehicles, a bunch of Tesla stations everywhere. Everything's going electric. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's a good thing generally speaking because it's you can get electricity through renewable sources that are also affordable, right? So it makes sense on both fronts, right? It's cleaner and it's more affordable, but not always, right? Because people right now they're using fuel to fuel up their cars. A lot of cars are going electric. And that is an opportunity for people who have solar to completely cover their costs of fuel, right, for their cars. You no longer need to go to the gas station. You come home, we can install an EV charger on your house and design the solar system to be able to produce enough power to power up your EV, to charge it every single night. You just eliminated a bill completely, right? And then the other side of it, right, is also gas and oil, right? So traditionally, heating has been through gas and oil. Everybody has always felt like electric heating and cooling is very expensive, right? Particularly electric heating. Most cooling is electric traditionally, right? But now new houses are being built with heat pumps, right? New houses are being built with ground source heat pumps or air source heat pumps. And that's electric power, right? Generation. Baseboard heating, traditionally, electric baseboard is very expensive. It's very inefficient, but the state is really pushing on, the state and the federal government are pushing on people to change their heating from oil or gas to electric. And there's some great systems out there, and you can eliminate your gas bill or your oil bill, and then it basically transfers over to your electric bill. Now, if you don't have solar, you're probably going to be paying more money,
Okay.
right? Gas and oil, I mean, oil is kind of similar. Gas is a little bit cheaper than electricity here in New England, generally speaking, for heating purposes. But for oil, it's pretty similar, right?
Yeah.
It's maybe sometimes oil is more expensive, but if you don't go solar, you're going to not pay your oil bill or not pay a gas bill. You're removing a bill, but then your electric bill is going to go up, right? But it's the same thing. You
Mhm.
switch everything to electric. That's what I did on my own house, right? I switched
Okay.
everything to electric. I took out the oil tank, right? I took out the burner for the hot water. I went all electric, and it's all covered under solar, right? I designed one solar system you can eliminate your gas bill, your fuel bill, your gas bill, your oil bill, and your electric bill all at once, right? And just consolidate everything into one payment, into one kind of focused area.
And it's a discounted payment because you have a solar.
Absolutely.
Incredible. Okay. I guess this is a good way to segue. There's a lot of realtors. I have a lot of realtor friends and even clients. They tell me about, hey, does actually solar add value to my house? Like, is it even
Yeah.
something that adds value? And I tell them all the time, like, hey, you should talk to a solar specialist. But I believe so. What are you thinking in your field?
Yeah. So that's a really good question. I think that's something that's always been a big question mark and for a lot of people. And people don't understand solar, right? We were talking about the misconceptions. People think that if you have a long-term agreement, whether you buy or you lease, people
Mhm.
believe that if I'm moving, right, that I have to pay off the solar system, right? I have to pay off the lease, I have to pay off the loan in order to be able to move. Otherwise, there's going to be a lien on the house, and I'm not going to be able to transfer the deed of the home. That's
Yeah.
not true, right? Any of the financing or leasing options that we're using right now do not put a lien on the property at all. So you can actually transfer a lease payment, transfer a loan payment to the new homeowner, right? Or a new homeowner can come in and pay off the solar bill, if there is an existing finance bill with a solar with their
Mhm.
mortgage, right? And then they don't have an electric bill anymore, right? You just consolidated, you pay a little bit more on your mortgage, but you don't have an electric bill anymore. But if you have a paid off solar system, it absolutely adds value to the house. Absolutely, certainly adds value because when you move into a house or you're looking into a house, most people they want to pull the utility bills from the previous homeowner, right? I want to see what are you paying in electricity, what are you paying in gas, what are you paying in oil, what's your heating, cooling costs, all those things. It's very, very important, right?
Yep.
And if you have a bill on it, right? A National Grid bill, an Eversource bill, CMP, Rhode Island Energy, and it says no payment due on the electricity bill. You tell me, Javi, right? My house is worth, I'm just throwing an example out there, right? You have three houses on the same street, they're all worth $500,000, right? Person A pays $300 for electricity. Person B pays $400. Person C doesn't pay anything because they have a solar system and it's paid off. That's $300 or $400 a month
That's a
in a
huge sum.
liability that you just turned into an asset. right? That solar system created an asset because you eliminated that $300 or $400 payment. Maybe they're paying $200 a month for solar, right? It's still less than what the current, market rate is. It's less than what person A and B are doing, but they're all at some point that payment ends, right? The solar payment ends, and you have a system on the house that's producing electricity, right? And you're turning something that's a liability, which is you go pay your electric bill every month, no matter what, whether it's $200 or $800. Most people would rather skip their mortgage than pay their electric bill, right? Because they're not going to kick you out of your house right away, but they'll turn off your electricity, right? Every month you pay, you're just paying rent, right? Most people, they buy a house. Why do they buy a house? Because they want to add equity, right? They want to add value, right? You're paying $2,000 a month in rent. You'd rather go pay $3,000 a month and get a mortgage, right? It's logical, right? Because part of that $3,000 payment is equity. Solar is the same idea, but guess what? You can actually pay for solar and it'll be less than what your current electricity bill is, right? You're offsetting a liability, which is your rent payment to the utility company, right? You pay them rent every single month. And then you pay a mortgage, call it, to the financing company, right? For solar.
Yeah.
Very simple. You tell me if that adds value or not.
No,
and there's studies that show, right? There's a UC Berkeley lab study that showed how much value solar adds to the house. And in Massachusetts in particular, it doesn't increase your property tax. There's a 20-year property tax abatement on the difference that solar adds value to the house. You don't pay property tax on either. They're really pushing for it right now.
That is incredible. So all in all, if you had to give one closing thought to everybody on this stream, what would you say to everybody if you had one thing you could say?
Get educated, 100%. I think we talked about a lot of things over here. You certainly want to go and talk to an expert, somebody who knows what they're doing, somebody who's been in the industry for, a long time. I've been doing this for 9 years right now, right? So I've pretty much seen it all, and find somebody who knows what they're talking about and get educated, because the reality is, and I know I'm not just talking to realtors, right? But as a realtor, you will be buying and selling houses that have solar, even as a homeowner, right? Or you're a buyer, you're a seller. You're going to buy a house with solar on it. You're going to sell a house with solar on it at some point, right? You as a homeowner, you as a realtor. So you need to know what you're talking about. And you need to have these in your holster, right? So that when somebody comes in and they want to say, oh, this is an adding value to the house, let me show you how it is, right? Certainly want to get educated and find out for yourself,
Perfect. Well, Ahmad, thank you so much for jumping on. I love the fact that we're connecting again.
Absolutely.
For those of you that don't know, Ahmad and I used to play a lot of soccer together. This guy was a stud on the field. Right. I haven't played with you in a long time.
He's a killer.
No, you're a stud on that field, man. You and your cousin,
man,
are all good people. But regardless, all his information is going to be below in the description. So if you guys want to contact Ahmad, reach out to him, even pick his brain about solar, you're considering it, his information is going to be below. So you can call him, email him, text him, whatever it is. But until then, guys, from Ahmad and I, peace out, guys.
Peace out, guys. Thank you very much.